Hey guys, and welcome back to round 5 of the Brazilian Amateur Championship. And we have a score of 3.5 out of 4. So we're absolutely popping off this tournament. Haven't taken a single L this game, this whole tournament, which is insane for me. That's never happened. So I'm really happy with this result so far. And we're playing against 1919. And without further ado, let's jump into the game. And yeah, with further ado, if you enjoy this content, leave a like, subscribe, and join the Discord. There will be a link in the description below. Okay, so without further ado, we start off with knight f3, c5, g3, b6, and in this game, I actually did decide to prep. So with my white games, I've been a bit kind of sloppy with my preps, I'd say. I haven't been prepping so hard because I'm kind of very comfortable with what positions we can get. So that's the reason I didn't prep as much as whites. But in this game, I did decide to prep a lot because there's so much at stake right now. It's 3.5 out of 4. I'm playing on board 2, and me and 4 or 5 other people are tied with 3.5, and there's one player with 4 points on board 1 playing. So it's a very, very even, equal tournament, and anybody could take home the title. So really, I need to play my best games. I need to win all of these games, basically. So this is why I prepped a lot for this game. And I knew he was going to play this b6 move. This is something I looked at beforehand. And I looked at, what, like 25 moves of prep in these positions. So yeah, I'm glad that he at least played what I looked at. So he plays b6 and he plays this kind of hedgehog setup. And with a6, bishop e7, this kind of stuff. And I go ahead and play bishop g2, bishop b7 by him. The idea is he wants to have this option of trading off these light square bishops because this is my most powerful piece. If he can trade it for mine, then he's golden. So castles. Knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, again, all prep, and a6. And this is what I had looked at. This was the main variations I saw that I thought he was going to play. And the best move here for white is to try and grab more space with the move d4. And it looks like, well, if you capture this and recapture with your knights, then you're just going to lose your bishop, like you just said. Why would you want to lose that bishop? Actually, I don't, and I'm going to recapture with the queen. And this is what I had prepped. And the idea is, it may look like a very natural move to play knight c6, kind of like in the Scandinavian, where white doesn't even have the option of bringing the queen to the a4, a5 square, and kind of just get stuck here behind this pawn. But actually, this is a very good move. So actually, you couldn't go here. That's what I meant to say. And you can play this queen d4 idea, and it's a good move because if they make a mistake and play knight c6, now we have queen f4. And this would be the idea I was going to play for. The idea is basically, this pawn on d7 is very weak now, and it's a backward pawn. And if you play it to, let's say, d6, which you can and you should to have more space at least, now you can't really push it any further because d5 is controlled. And if you do really insist on playing something like this, I'll play, let's say, rook d1, and you play d5. What's gonna happen in these positions is we're gonna reach a position like this, more or less. And now black has just given themselves a nice placed pawn, and is not castled yet, so this looks really bad because your king can get checked and it's exposed in the center of the board. And this pawn is isolated and weak. I have many pieces controlling this d5 square, my bishop and my knight and my rook. And also I can blockade this with like a move, let's say knight d4, so this would be blockaded. And just winning a pawn could be enough. It could be enough to win the game. And so this is definitely not what you want to be doing as black. Definitely not. So you can't really play d5, is basically the point of my queen f4. So let's say d6. This is still something I prepped out. Rook d1, bishop e7 will be the best move. b3, castles, and bishop a3, adding another attacker to this square. So now black is kind of overwhelmed, and there's really no way to maintain this pawn, which is really good for white. So you kind of have to play this as black out of force, sheer force. and I had prepped the following continuation from this point. C takes d5, and yes, my bishop is hanging here, but you can't really take it, because if you take this bishop, now I'm gonna take this, and this is hit, and this is hit now, because the rook sees the queen. So you're gonna lose a piece from this, so you can't do this. So the better move to play after c takes d5 is knight takes d5, hitting the white queen, and now we'd play knight takes, bishop takes, and then this very nice knight c7 inclusion. The idea is the knight's defended on c7 by my queen, and his queen is now hit, so he has to move the queen or do something about it. So he counterattacks with e5, still prep, by the way. Rook takes queen, pawn takes queen, rook takes rook, and you can't play rook takes. Because if you play rook takes, then my knight takes, and I'm up in exchange. So you have to play bishop takes, and then once you play bishop takes, knight d2. Knight d2, and I'm threatening to capture this, and I'll actually show you this. Let's just say they play a bad move, let's just say they play this. Now I would play knight takes, rook takes, and then bishop takes, and I'm winning. Just cleanly winning here. So you can't do this. You have to play bishop e7 so that my knight can't capture the bishop. But now knight c4 comes in, and I'm hitting the other bishop. Bishop c5, my knight is very well placed, and I simply take a pawn. And I have just won a pawn. I have an amazing position, all my pieces are active. Black's pieces are all tied up, and this would have been the end of my prep. Of course, we don't get this position. What happens is, well, after queen takes d4, he plays d6, which doesn't go into that whole knight c6 line that I just showed. And d6 is a good move here. It's the correct move. Knight c6 would have been a mistake. And from here, basically, I still have the same game plan. My game plan is to pressure the d6 square and not allow him to push at any point. If black is able to push and gain more space, they will equalize. So I need to avoid that at all costs, which is why I play in this following way. Rook d1, adding pressure to d6, bishop b7, b3, and knight bd7. And now after knight bd7, I can't really go bishop a3 anymore like I did in the other lines. This is not the move. Because now if I go bishop a3, he's always going to have ideas of blockading this with a move like knight c6, knight c5. And now my bishop doesn't pressure this anymore, so this would not be good for me. So this is what I had fought in the game. So simply, let's start with e4. And if you're a King's Indian player, this will look very familiar to you, because it's kind of like you play a King's Indian where black has played e takes d4 and you've recaptured and you get this open diagonal here. But the difference is that I have a very flexible bishop here, by the way. I can place it on b2 if I want, I can place it on a3 if I want. If I really need and it tactically works, I've got bishop f4, which is improbable, but the flexibility is an important aspect, which is why I didn't play bishop a3 immediately. So I wanted to keep the flexibility, and this was the best move, so I'm glad I played it. And he follows up with queen c7, and now I feel, okay, I kind of have to develop my bishop, and I don't see any ideas along a3, so let's go bishop b2. Because he's probably going to castle next move, and he does. There was a whole line that I didn't see for the life of me, which was in after bishop a3, knight c5, e5, takes, queen takes, takes, knight takes, and we're going to trade off bishops, which really isn't what I wanted, but I can understand that in this position there is still an advantage for the white pieces, because we get knight c6, our knight's very active, and we have a lot of pressure on his queen side. Our rooks are very active as well, so this would have been a good position, but not winning or anything. It's just a slight advantage here for white. I didn't see this, and I played bishop b2, which still keeps an advantage. Castles, queen e3, and this is still my prep. So you can tell I really prepped for this game. I really did prep. And you know, I'm not taking any chances. I'm gonna just prep my mind out and try and play my best chess. And I'm not gonna lose the title. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just locked in at this point. Every single move I've played up to this point has been the best move in this game. I am fully locked in. I'm gonna do this. That's my mindset right now. Rook f8. And I kind of got too locked in. And what ended up happening is I underestimated my opponent, and you really can't do that. And I saw this rook f8 move as not as good. I didn't take it seriously because this was something I looked at in the analysis that I did, and it showed that it was beneficial for white, but I didn't play it correctly. I played rook ac1, which is correct, rook ac8 is also correct, and h3 is incorrect. If you try and come up with a plan in positions after, let's say, well, let's just say rook here, it becomes really hard to play for d5 because yes, your rook does support d5, but you're not really breaking through, not just yet. So in these lines, I saw you could play h3, and I mixed up my lines and I played h3. And in this case, there is a very solid plan here that Black is playing for. Black's playing along this alignment, saying that they can play d5 because whenever I play e takes, well, I may not even be able to play e takes because the rook is looking at my queen. The pawn may be pinned. And so yeah, that's the idea. Taking away from this by making use of the pin. So this was kind of like a waiting move that I thought I could play. But really, I can't be waiting here. I need to play more aggressive. So queen b8. Knight d4 is an imprecision here by me because now he finally threatens to play the d5. And I'm like, okay, what do I do now? So I don't really see a good way here to stop his d5, except for tactically. So I kind of have to resort to a tactical approach. And I do this by playing knight f3. And by playing knight f3, I'm threatening to play e5 now, and he can't do anything about it. So queen e8 by him, just preparing it a bit further. And I play rook e1 here, which is a major imprecision. The idea here is I can still play e5 if I want to. Yeah, basically I'm just making e5 viable. But what I do in exchange for this is I actually move off the d file, which is my main goal here. So maybe I should have played something like knight d2 to keep the rook on. And then let's just say he does play this move. I think I still could play e5 here. I think I could play something like e5, and then he sacrifices the pawn, and then I would take his bishop, he'd take my queen, I'd take his queen, he would take here. Let's say takes, knight takes. Whoa, it's white to play. Okay, that's why it's white to take, so I need to white to play, so I need to find a way to defend this pawn, which isn't really that hard. I could easily find a way to defend this pawn, and I still have a good position, I think. So I missed this in the game, and I played rook e1. Which, okay, it's not terrible. It's terrible because I missed the follow-up here. I play knight d2, which puts me in a very complicated position. Really what I should have done is just played e5. Let me show you what I was calculating for e5. e5 was scary as well, because there's d4, queen takes, bishop takes, and then it's kind of like, okay, the queen gets very active here and is on f3. It's very scary to play these positions. Sure, I can play takes, which would not be good. Bishop here is devastating, queen d2, and then I lose this pawn, and basically, yeah, I'm dead lost at this point. I saw this, which is why I didn't play e5, but I missed this move. Queen d1, simply stepping out the way, allowing him to take, and then we go into this line, take, and wait, you can't take. You can take. Okay. So you can take here, Or after queen d1, if you queen trade, then actually both your knights are under attack, and you're gonna lose one of the two knights. So this would not work for black. This loses a piece. Anyways, queen d2, sorry, knight d2 was played, and this is where it gets really tough. He plays d4 with the idea that he's kind of forcing me to take this pawn, otherwise I'm just losing a piece. And he's gonna get huge counterplay now. Bishop c5, queen d3, knight e5, queen back, rook active. Everything is starting to just avalanche towards my position very quickly, and I need to find a way to deal with this. So I'm definitely not better in this position. Black has a slight advantage, and I need to find a good defense. So basically, I'm probably just playing for a draw at this point, since it's such a bad situation. And with rook c d8, he's got knight d3 ideas, and when he does play knight d3, everything will be hit. Like my bishop is hanging, my two rooks are under attack, f2 is hanging. It's just insanity how strong this knight d3 move is. So I need to deal with this now, and the best defense is to play rook c2. Just stepping out with one of the rooks, accepting that from this position you're going to play rook f1, now f2 is covered, and you're going to lose the dark square bishop. So yeah, you lose the dark square bishop, and you can't really say it's losing. There's still play. White can still play for a draw, but it is definitely better for black. Instead of taking, which he should have, so I thought this was good for him. This is kind of what I calculated, and huge pressure on my position. There's literally nothing I can do about this. Instead of playing this, I think he wanted more, and he plays bishop d4, which is dubious. It kind of allows me to get away with some of the moves I've played. Best would be like bishop a1 in this position, and we'd reach a position like this, where I didn't really want to lose. I didn't see this move, by the way, because I thought he could just play knight takes c1. But now after you play knight takes c1, we have the intermediate move, queen g4, which I missed. And queen g4 threatens checkmate, so you have to deal with this. And you're going to lose the knight on c1. So this was a missing calculation by me, but of course it was a very hard position. My time is all the way down at this point, so I can't really blame myself. I just saw, well, this would be the best line actually, and we played this position, but I end up playing knight a4. He doesn't want to take my bishop. He really wants to win something, a pawn or a rook or something. I don't allow it, fam. I play takes. And I'm actually threatening to play, if you play knight takes c2, bishop takes b6. And now my position looks really good, because I've won a pawn of his. I've won 2 pawns actually for my piece. So material is completely equal, and I've got a passer on the c-file. This would be the dream basically, and positionally it looks very balanced. Rook takes instead is what he plays. He doesn't accept the sacrifice. So basically I'm up a pawn for now. Defend my rook. Knight d3. Am I up a pawn? Yeah, I'm up a pawn. Rook c2. b5 by him. Really aggressive. So he starts losing his way around this position now, because he's getting low on the clock. I'm getting low on the clock, and he really didn't like this sequence of moves he played. He should have just taken my bishop way before. He doesn't, and now is my time to counterattack, because psychologically this guy's a bit tilted. So this is where you start making those big boy moves. C takes, A takes, knight c3, attacking b5, knight b4, hanging a pawn basically. After rook b2, rook c8, knight takes b5. I mean, what can I say? I'm 2 pawns up, and I feel like I'm gonna win this game. Bishop a6, and now I'm down to minutes on the clock. He is down to 2 minutes or something insane, and I've got like I think it was, I think I had 4 minutes, I'd say. So yeah, I did have time to calculate. I should have. I played a4 here. Just trying to keep it as simple as possible for me and convert into a winning endgame. Knight d3 by him, attacking my rook. I counter-attack his rook and step out of this bishop scope, which was really annoying. I really didn't want to have my queen here, so better would be to just take. I miscalculated. After take, knight b5 again, I'm kind of safe, and his knight is kind of trapped here now. There's not really many squares for his knight. Of course, you can play rook c2 to kind of pin my knight, but I just break the pin, and I'm pretty okay here. Yep, this would be better. Anyways, queen e3, still a good idea. Bishop takes. Again, a miss here by me. Queen takes would be better. We would reach this position where his knight is not just trapped, it's under attack. Rook d8 takes. Clean win. Yes, you can tell by my misses what direction this game is going in. Rook d8, knight c4, attacking the pawn. And this is, I'm gonna speed up now to show you guys the level of pressure we were under. So we had both 30 seconds. There was a point where he had 10 seconds, 1 second on the clock. He almost didn't make it in time to hit the clock. So b6, sacrificing a pawn. Knight b4, trying to get that pawn now and trying to just untangle his pieces, get his pieces to a better position. Bishop f3 by me, stopping any rook d1 ideas and covering g4 square. So rook d3 now. And now all of a sudden my bishop's under attack. My queen needs to keep defending it, which isn't really good. h6, let's just trade these rooks off since they're annoying. Rook fd1, he doesn't want to trade, I still do. So let's continue and follow through. Take, trade all rooks. Still trading rooks. And this is a blunder. It's a blunder because I had a clean win here. Queen a2. Don't care about the rooks, just queen. Queen b7, rook takes, knight takes, bishop back. And then we are defending the b6 pawn. We're kicking the queen from the blockade and we're gonna queen. I of course miss it. That was a really hard one, I think. Takes, queen d3, especially for time pressure. Knight d7, king g2, now my bishop's defended. He takes my pawn, inevitable, but still I've got a passed pawn. I'm playing for that passed pawn on the queen side. All I need to do is defend this, and after this move, I play the game-losing mistake. f4. Why would I do this? There's no need to expose my king this much. My king is way too exposed now. All I had to do was maintain and play something like queen here. f6, h4, and just slowly but surely win the game. And really, there's nothing that black can do in this position. And eventually, white will find a way to untangle. I just need to be patient, but it's hard to be patient when you've got no time on the clock. So that's kind of like a mindset thing. We played it. This is what we play out. Knight e6. He is threatening a fork. I step out. g5. f5. He now has a very nice square for his knight. Queen check. And I'm threatening just a repetition. Maybe I can actually possibly win this, actually. But it's tough. So king g8. I should have just taken the pawn here and played queen takes. I was afraid of these checks, but it's actually fine. This would be more or less what happens. And we go for a draw here. Queen b2. And you can see that this is not what I wanted from the position. Now I'm getting all sorts of checks. I need to hide my king in some way. I'm very happy to see a queen trade. It just won't happen though. Bishop b2, blundering, queen e1 check, check, attack his knights, defend my bishop, but he gives check. And then after takes, I play this ridiculous move. Just absolutely ridiculous move. My idea was to play king f2 here. I just play bishop f3, attacking the queen because, you know, time pressure. I had seconds, like 2 seconds or something. I had to make a move. And this just blunders. Checkmate in one. Ah, no. Such a painful loss. It was such a painful loss, and I was devastated. I just sat at the board and I was staring at the board for minutes. I couldn't get up. I couldn't accept the reality of what happened, and yeah, it was just devastating. In time pressure as well, it was such a good game. I played so well the whole way through. The defensive game I played was actually really strong. I actually managed to win a pawn and convert to a better position in the end. Um, so yeah, I was super resilient. It's just that one single f4 move which I couldn't have played. It just made my life hell, and yeah, it is how it is sometimes, you know. But we'll be better in the future. So we still have 3.5 out of 5 now, which isn't terrible as well. I still have chances to win and get my title. I just need to win next 2 rounds. So there are 7 rounds. This was 5. We've got 2 more rounds. I need to win both to win the title. Can we do it? Stay tuned. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.